On this video, I would like to explain how you can easily integrate KODO for Cloud with the data domain. So first of all, we need to explain what the KODO for Cloud does. So we do backing up the Office 365 with the many features inside the Office 365, but the major goal is to properly do it a cloud to cloud or cloud to on-prem. It means that you can install the KODO for Cloud as a virtual appliance, as one of the virtual machines on your VMware, for example, infrastructure, and take your data from the cloud, offload to on-prem. So this is a great opportunity for those who has a requirement or who would like to be much more compliant and safe in case of any data loss on the Office 365 side. So first of all, what we need to understand is what configuration we need to do to make the proper integration. So first, we go into the data domain, and from the data domain perspective, we just need to go and create the dedicated entry with the NFS share for the KODO. So I already done. It named data called KODO 365 backup. You can see that this entry has the access via the NFS. I already created a share, so I can click here and see that this NFS has already the client, and this client actually represents the KODO server and the agent itself. So you can see 10.41.171 with the NFS version 3, version 4 with the read-write access. So you will see here that KODO is 171, so it's actually the same host. And I can see that this this share is actually mounted here as a var DB backup. So let's go on a KODO and see where I can configure. So we need to understand that the KODO itself has a server and the agents. Agents are responsible to collecting the data from the Office 365 via Graph API and put the data directly to the data domain. And the server, of course, has all of the logic, catalog, metadata, and the orchestration and the management for one of our many agents. You need to also be aware that we have the capability to create multiple instances. So we have a multi-tenancy feature. So it's a great opportunity for the managed service providers to work with us and build the backup as a service offering for the Office 365 users. Agent itself, I mentioned it. Agent is a worker, so data mover. So he's responsible for collecting the data and put into the data domain. And in the settings, the most important part today is to go to the storage and see that where I should store my staging path, so var dd backup stage, and where I should keep all of the backup from the Office 365. So as I mentioned before, this is a mount point. So we can see the var dd backup. I will go there. dd backup. We can see it's lots of folders here. It's important that I don't understand the structure. Let's say to go to the 24. Inside we'll see some other folders, for the 6, for example. So subdirectories, then there's other folders. So I will not go deep dive here, but I just want to explain that for sure this is one of the emails or one of the objects. We do not expose it here because we know in our database what actually these objects is in case of the data disaster in the recovery feature. But on the file system, we don't have any clue which user is actually here and what type of the file. So important part that we're already doing a backup. So let's come back to I right now registered and log in as a KODO admin. KODO admin is sort of the super user, so it has capability to manage multiple organizations. Right now I will go to the tenant as a tenant admin to the management itself for my organization, and we need to be familiar with the few features here. The first of all, of course, dashboard. So we can see that right now the 10 jobs are running. In most cases, there is an Exchange mailbox backup We got some transfer statistic in the last hours, the number of the protected users, unprotected users, how many of them are protected. Sometimes the task will fail. You will see why later on. But there are two things that we need to prepare and schedule to get all of the things done. So I will start with the settings. In the settings, I go into the configuration. So I have two options to add the Office 365 tenant manually. It's much more tough way because we need to go to the Azure portal, create the app, create the credential, get the tenant ID, secret key, client ID. But there is also the easy way. I just need to go as an admin of my office tenant.com and put the password. Then all of the validation will happen in the background. And if I put a correct credential, then I'll see that the validation is completed. Right now, I connected with the backup monster.io the domain. And then after that, I click synchronize and synchronize all of the users. So here you can see we have 20 users. Some of them are already protected because the jobs are running. Some still waiting in a queue to be protected. But the beauty is that after we synchronize, the last thing what we need to do is just to go to the jobs and create a schedule. I already create one called daily backup. I will go and see, so I'll explain how I created it. So the name, so the daily backup for daily purposes incremental. You need to be aware that the first one, of course, will be the full. Next one will be the incremental forever. Users, we can choose the users manually, or we can, this is what I do love, always use the auto select users. So you don't need to care if the new users will appear. It will be automatically assigned to the policy itself and then do the job. And the schedules, we choose in where to what time, what day, or every week, whatever. We can sort of few options to check. And I need to keep my time zone. I'm sitting in Poland, Warsaw, so it's good that I will schedule and run at the same time as I'm sitting here. Okay, just a summary what I decided. Save, and I can run, of course, the job. So the job has started, and the job has tough work to do because I said about the 10 jobs in parallel. We can do more, but our recommendation right now is to do only the 10. If you will deep dive into the Office 365, you will see that there is something called throttling. Throttling means that you cannot go and you cannot insanely call APIs to the Office 365 via API and the graph, because Microsoft has some limits like 10,000 API calls per 10 minutes. So we don't want to, angry and be treated as a DDoS attack. So we do recommend that we shouldn't go today more than the 10 threads at the one time. And of course, there is a queue. So I create a job. There is 81 jobs to do. Each user needs at least four different features like Exchange, contacts, calendars, mailbox, and the OneDrive. So we multiply by 20, we have it 80 plus 1, I think the old one. It's still the restoration is waiting for the previous demo. That's why it's 81. And you can see that they're waiting in a queue, and there are some jobs completed. I'll take this one, Spencer Ada, just protect 9,533 options. The agent started at 12:03. Actually finalize all of the backup at 4, so 2 hours later. Okay. Sometimes you will get the failed, sometimes you will not could import the users, sometimes you will be lack of protecting one of the files, because you need to be aware that Office 365 can give you the ban or says service is unavailable, you cannot reach right now this file, try later on. We try to retrieve a few times, but it's not infinite loop. So we prefer to come back in the next day to grab this one file that we need to skip. Okay, so we know how to set it up. We know how to job this and do the schedule. We know how to view the task, and the most important part is how to reach the file in case of data loss. So right now I will go, for example, to Alina Russell, just click on this user, and you can see the different types of the objects that you protected. I will go to the inbox. Where is it here? So you can see there is an email from Microsoft. And also I will go to the OneDrive. There's no OneDrive here, but maybe OneDrive will be in the other. Yeah, other had some OneDrive. So there is also folders. There is a file here, 2 megabytes file. I will grab this file. So when I click, I'm downloading directly this data via web browser to the administrator. There is a second option that I don't need to download directly. I can, when I will click the object that I would like to restore, there's a feature called download and the restore. Restore means I would like to come back to the cloud. Coming back to this dashboard, you can see what's going on here, the number of the protected users. So I think we're done. I showed you how the KODO for Cloud works. Let's open the file. I think it's important to see. Yeah, it's the 2 megabyte files. So you can see it's visible. So what I wanted to show you is how KODO integrates with the data domain. Let's see the live chart. You can see that we right now writing directly to the data domain from the KODO to the DD backup, which is mounted on my KODO server via NFS share. Okay, thanks for watching this video. If you will have any question, just contact the story team. Thanks.